Hey everybody, it is Friday, January 2nd, and it is time for my sketchbook review. I almost completely forgot about it. I was actually just out there drawing thinking, man, my sketchbook review is going to be real long this week, and then I realized, oh, it's Friday, and I should have known that because I scheduled an appointment to have my fingerprints done today, and I knew I purposely scheduled it for Friday because I wanted to get that done and then come home and record. But I'm home now. I've been sketching for like 2 hours and I added a little bit more, so I'm like, oh, I better get this review going. So it's messy today. I just wasn't prepared for this at all. Oops, there goes my thing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Well, like I said, I went and got my fingerprints done today. My fingerprints for taking my state boards. So that's done and out of the way. So in like 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how busy they are, I'll get an email saying that I can take my NCLEX exam now, so I can actually get online and schedule it and pay for it and then go take it. So it's like official. I have to start studying. I cannot keep doing this. So I have to make up a study schedule. Whew. But that was really exciting, and I guess the best part of it is as I was getting fingerprinted, I was offered a job. I didn't accept it because it's in a field that I don't plan to go into and would rather not see. The thing is with nursing, and this is the thing that they warn you about, is that it is an in-demand field, but you need to get into the area that you want to, because if you just take whatever to have a job, you're going to get burnt out. And since I'm already coming off of a round of burnout because of school, I want to be really careful with what I get into, and I definitely don't want to take a job I already know I'm not going to like. So as much as I really need the money, I didn't really turn them down. I just said, can I have some time to think about it? And they're like, well, yeah, of course. And they gave me a website and everything to go check their stuff out, their credentials and everything. And I'll still look into it because I believe in being fair. But I probably won't take the job. But I'm still applying, so unfortunately, our graduating class was so big and we're in such a condensed area that I kind of expect that they're getting a lot of applications right now. So, and I'm trying to just ignore my bank account right now and be like, it's okay. We're going to be okay. We'll figure it out when we get to it. But for now, just don't jump at the first job you get offered. So it's like, okay, all right. But it was a good feeling. Anyway, so on to my art. So I did some color work, I did some stuff in my big sketchbook, and I did some stuff in my little sketchbook. So we're going to start with the colored work first. Well, let's just do this one first. This is from my 3 marker challenge. I uploaded it already. I believe it wasn't, it was yesterday? Yeah. It's already uploaded and you guys can go see it. I think what I'm going to do, because I'm so angry with the background and how it turned out, I just don't like it. I think I'm going to actually take an X-Acto blade and cut the foreground out and maybe mount this on a separate piece of paper or kind of frame it and then have it to where she's overlaying the frame or something like that, because I've seen some people do that and it looks really, really sweet. But we'll wait and see on that. I already know I don't like the piece. It's probably going to go in a folder right now as is if I don't do anything with it, and I will never look at it ever again. So yeah, so there was that, and I really liked how it turned out, like the foreground at least, like just the detail in the hair and everything. I got some nice shading on the eyelids to kind of give it an eyeshadowy effect, and then just the folds and everything. And then I took this was from an earlier picture from, I forget which sketchbook. I think it's in my big one. But it's just Cherry looking at a pocket watch in Victorian clothing. But the thing with this is, all of my characters, and Piper's going through sort of a thing now, you guys will see that a little bit later on, is I do like to take them out of their original time zones. Like Cherry is supposed to be medieval, and I'm pulling her out of that and I'm putting her into the Victorian era just for funsies, just to kind of explore the character. I feel like when someone starts a story or a character or anything, a lot of that happens. They do pick them up and put them in different eras to see which one they would fit in the best. And my cat's yowling. So I don't think it's too odd that I'm doing that. I think it's just really confusing to people because they're like, oh, well, wasn't she an archer? It's like, well, yeah, she's an archer in medieval cherry time, but in here she's actually a hit woman. She's a murder for hire. So, yeah. But the whole point of the art portion of that is I wanted to use my gouache because I went out and I bought, I had a not a coupon, but I had a gift card for Hobby Lobby, and I bought some of these Princeton Select brushes, and I got a short liner, which has always been one of my struggles with doing gouache and things like that, is I never have thin enough paintbrushes to feel like I could ink properly. I wish gouache came like my pocket Pentel brush pen, my Pentel pocket brush pen. Unfortunately it doesn't, so. But I was able to get relatively decent smooth lines. I think with a little bit more practice it'll be even better. Honestly, I think like the gouache was a little bit too thick, and that's why it didn't go on very smoothly. That if I had watered it down just a little bit more, it would have been better. So I'm just kind of playing around with it, still trying to get the feel for it. But the gouache definitely gives it a really nice soft feel that I really enjoy. And then of course with my inks here, the contrast of course is perfect. I love it. Just it's the right amount, and it kind of offsets with the amount of black that I've got on the image itself. Just a minute, I have to sneeze, I'm sorry. Goodness, okay, 2 times. Alright, so back to this. Sorry, excuse me, I hate sneezing on camera, but I'm not going to go back and edit it either. But with this one, of the two, I prefer the black and white one. I feel like if this was colored, like just different colors instead of just red, if it wasn't a monotone, it would look a lot better, but it is what it is. Monochromatic, I should say, not monotone. This one turned out better. I like this one. I might actually do something with this one. I was thinking about turning it into a sticker, actually, but I think that the ink is not alcohol-based. I'm pretty sure it's water-soluble, so that won't work. But I want to do something with it. Unfortunately, it's probably just going to end up getting tossed in with this one and with this into some unmarked folder somewhere in my office, and I'll never see it ever again. But yeah, so those were the colored and black and white final pieces that I've done. I'll start with the small sketchbook because where the small sketchbook leaves, the big one picks up. I had to go up north and do some stuff this past weekend, and while I was up there, I was in contact with Beagle Babe, and we were talking about how Cherry and Margot could potentially meet, and we were talking about how they both hang out at the Rat Trap. And if you guys are unfamiliar with that Great Mouse Detective, the Disney movie, I believe that's the name of the bar that Ratigan, I don't know if he controls it or if he just has his dudes hanging out there or whatever. I never clarified that, but I don't care. So I figured that that's where they would meet because Cherry, you know, she does like to booze it up and she likes to fight, and we're better to fight than a bar, you know. But we had this whole thing planned out. Like there's that red-headed mouse that Watson bumps into, I believe, and she just kind of seems snooty and kind of stuck up. And BB was saying something to the degree of, oh, I bet she's some sort of a xenophobe or something. And I was like, maybe. And I was like, but Cherry's always looking to punch people in the face, so it probably wouldn't take anything more than just a rude comment from the red-headed mouse lady to Margot for her to just get up and go over there and punch her in the face, just because she's always looking to fight. She's just that kind of person. So that's basically what happened. So we got Cherry here punching out the red-headed lady. And then I was trying to do another punching position up here, and it didn't turn out very good. And then we have the aftermath. She's kind of wiping off her hand a little bit. I don't know why she would have been, but whatever, she is. And then I kind of squeezed Margot in there, and I felt really bad. I was like, oh, I got her all deformed. But then I got Cherry over here saying, oh, you know, it's cute. Let's go have a drink or something. Well, she's just saying she likes to smash faces. And then they kind of sit down and have a drink. And it was just real quick, sloppy. It's not even good transitions, but it is what it is. And I was like trying to get this drawn and like trying to hold conversations and everything at the same time, but yeah. So that's it for this one. And then I picked it up in this sketchbook, which is starting to get a little bit chewed up here. We saw that. Okay, so we picked it up here, and this is after they're trashed. And Cherry's trying to get Margot to go with her on a hit. And of course, the whole idea is I'm playing off the fact that she's not saying, oh, come help murder somebody with me. She's making it sound like it's something completely different, which is the point. You know, she's trying to trick her into coming and helping her to do this, because most people don't want to help people on hits for hire. Margot clearly probably has no clue what's going on. So, again, that was the whole point, is just messing around like this. But I assume that at some point it happens, they go do the hit or whatever. And then I had this even better idea. I was like, oh, well, what if they finish the hit, they're fixing to clean up, and then enter our hero, the Great Mouse Detective. It's like, well, crap, what are we going to do? I was like, well, if it was Cherry, she probably would, well, because of her style of hit for hire, she probably would need a shower afterwards. So I imagine she would be doing that, and then she would just try to play it off like, you know, she was home and he just kind of walked in. And because I was rewatching the movie yesterday, and I was like, no, they don't knock or do anything. They sneak into everything. And I was like, so for him to just walk in on her, it doesn't stretch the mind too much to assume that that's what would happen. But it also makes it for an uncomfortable situation for him, because obviously, OMG, naked lady. So I was kind of playing it off on that. And of course, Cherry would completely manipulate the situation to her benefit of, you walked in and blah, blah, blah. And of course, she's going to start fishing for information like, who are you after? Or are we safe? Blah, blah, blah. Do you know who you're looking for? And I had this whole thing set up to where it's like he's looking for a man hit for hire person. So he has no clue that it's Cherry. And she's just going to screw with him for like as long as she can over the whole thing. But let's backtrack because we skipped a page. I was trying to design a male character for Piper on her way to Empire City in the comic that I was working on for her, which I need to pick up now that I've got everything taken care of as far as trips up north, family stuff, and stuff for school or for my career or whatever. But I kind of was getting tired around this point, so I just on paper. And then there's a little mouse Piper. Her eye needs to be moved over just a smidgen. I might actually scan this and move it over and make it into a sticker. But we'll see. But I was thinking about that song. It goes, I'll say a little prayer for you. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Which is why I wrote it. I've been writing a lot of song lyrics on the stuff that I've been drawing lately. I must say, though, I did do a very good job on Basil. Very good job, considering I've never drawn him before or the characters before. I do tend to struggle when I'm emulating someone else's style of character. In Disney in particular, I do struggle a lot with, because their eyes are just regular round eyes usually. But now that I've been studying, I was like, no, they're kind of like rounded triangles, kind of like what I do with my duck characters. So if I just scale it back, shrink it in, it actually works. So, you know. I was trying to draw a fierce Cherry, and it just didn't work out. I was trying to draw that dude with Piper. This was the time when I was like, okay, it might be time for sleep. Because I was just like, it was going downhill. And I was like, all right, I can't keep doing this. I'm going to cry. My nose is running now that I've sneezed, so. But yeah. He wasn't supposed to be a nice guy either. The one that I'm developing for the comic with Piper. But I haven't really decided on that yet. This was just a quickie that I did featuring Nega Piper, because RectCon is about to come to the Duckverse roleplay site, and I'm rewinding everything back, and that includes Piper and Nega Piper as duck people. I'm not 100% sure still that I'm bringing Duck Piper back. I really just need to figure that out. But if I do, I know certain things are going to have to happen. But I know her Negaversian version is not going to be a vampire anymore, which is really sad, because I love her as a vampire. It's fun. But I had this idea, and I work from right to left. I don't know why. Typically everyone works from left to right, but not me. But I had this idea where she tries to bite Inflatable, who is Grave PTA's character, and she does. She gets the bite in, and then she realizes, wait, there's something wrong, because I don't think Inflatable has blood. And then, boosh, she gets to be inflated too. And I know, like, it's like that whole inflation thing, and that's like not my thing or anything like that. It's just that's the character, so I'm playing off of the character's discomfort and sharing it with my character. I just thought it was really funny and cute, and drawing kind of little chubby ducks is actually really, really fun. Because I was live streaming this and my friend was sitting there like, why are you drawing big old round ducks? And I was like, because I can. And I left it at that, but then I explained it. And then I tried to draw a negaduck, and I had my head down because I was tired, and so of course it's slanted. And then I drew a baby negaduck reaching for a dainta. And a dainta. So yeah, that was cute. And then one of my YouTubers told me that she thought, I believe it's a she thought that the name, I've been pronouncing it Lisren. It was pronounced Lazrain. Which kind of sounds right if you think about like Greek stuff and what am I? I'm not thinking. I'm not Greek. Latin, and it could come from the name Lazarus, which is a probability, but I don't know the genealogy of the languages in Europe. I just assume everything comes from Latin, which is a dumb assumption to make, but whatever. Anyway, so I was just kind of drawing him walking along and whistling, because what else you gonna do? Tried to Disney-ify Negapiper in this one, and this wasn't supposed to be Negapiper, but as I was drawing it, I realized, hey, we could do that, and then I scooched over to do a Negapiper, and then I just didn't finish it. This was just a page of scribbles, outline. I used to do a lot of outlines and then just actually outline silhouettes and then fill them in with like watercolor starbursts and like space scenes and things like that. Spacescapes, I should say. And I stopped doing that because it kind of made me I felt a lazier artist. So now I'm like, oh, I wanted to do one. So I just did a quick outline. This was like supposed to be Tiki from Miraculous Ladybug. That's supposed to be Tina Belcher from Bob's Burgers. That's nobody. And then there's Cherry just kind of tipping her hat up like, sup. And then I drew a Junkie Jedi and a little Cherry just kind of having fun. And then I was trying to push myself out of my comfort zone and do some foreshortening. And foreshortening. But yeah, really I was just trying to have some fun, get this done and doodle something. And then this is a commish for the second winner of my contest, or my giveaway. She chose a character from, I think it's a music anime. I honestly don't know the character. I was going to watch a couple episodes before I started coloring it, because I feel like I need to know the character a little bit better before I do art of that character. I'm not saying it's impossible to do artwork of characters that you don't know, but I prefer not to. And I want to make sure that I have just the little nuances right for the character. I'm not 100% sure who it's from. I don't even really know the name of the anime. I just looked up the name and grabbed a couple pictures and went off from there. So this was the original sketch that I ended up not liking, and this is the one I'm going with. It just feels nicer and looks nicer. It's going to be a really nice commission because I'm going to actually hopefully film some of my Copic processes while I'm doing it, instead of like entire speed paints, just focusing on some key factors. This is a picture of little sleepy Piper, because she's alone a lot, so she thinks a lot and she sleeps a lot. Poor thing. But I just kind of wanted to draw her laying back and looking up and contemplating life. And then I got a picture of Cherry and Basil, and she's just kind of flirting with him because that's how she rolls, is she turns on the charm for him so long as he doesn't know what she is. And then once he figures out what she is, then she's just going to go psychopath on him, but whatever. His nose should be actually quite a bit bigger, but I think I scaled it back for aesthetic reasons. I put this up on DeviantArt. And it's funny how everyone's like, they go both directions. It's like a 50-50. Half the people think he's about ready to get killed, and then the other half is thinking that he's about ready to get some. So I'm like, it's great that you guys have got her down to that. Like, that's exactly it. It's 50-50. Those are the two directions she operates in, and I love it. Love it. This went up on Tumblr too. I had like a little story to go with this, but basically he's like, this is serious, it's time to go. And she's like, boop. And he's like, stop that. This turned out really good. I really like how he turned out. I don't like how her ear turned out though. Yeah. And then I was looking at some 1940s fashion, and I was like, well, let's draw Piper in some 1940s fashion. So I did. And I really liked how the hat looked on her, so I drew another picture. Her face is a little bit too much to the side, but whatever. I drew that little hat on her, and just to, I know my shadows are in the way. I apologize. Just to show, oh, that would be my Skype. A little bit more detail on that. Yeah. And then a little bit more detail on this, because look, she's booping his nose hard enough to push it back a little bit. That's the best part of it, is like she's not even shy about it. She's like, boop. It's great. I love Cherry. I love Cherry. I love her. I love her personality. And then this was the last doodle I did. This page and the one before. This is actually a couple hours, but I was watching a movie in the meantime, so that's how come I was kind of going slow. So this page and this were kind of today, because there's nothing after that. But I liked Piper in that hat so much I drew her again in that hat. But she's singing, I think it's pronounced Eponine from Les Miserables, the scene after Marius and Cosette meet and introduce each other, and they're like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, and all that stuff. But I don't picture Piper as Eponine, but she's a huge romantic. Like, she loves romance. She reads romance, and she wants romance in her life. At least in this era, that's what she's looking for. So I just figured that she'd be like just one of those people who just, that's basically all she thinks about, is not necessarily, I need a man, but she's like, I want to find that great love in my life. And that was very common in the 1940s, in 1950s, and 1930s and 20s, is romance was big. It's like, that was your goal. Women tended to just want that big first love and get married and settle down and have a family. And there's a part of Piper's personality where that is very strong in her, that same desire. The only difference is where she actually is when it comes to like her 1800s persona, is that she has an element of survival in there. She has to take care of herself. She's poor, so there is that element of survival in there, and that's what distracts her from that being her main goal. But I would imagine that in the 1940s or something like that, she's able to have some sort of employment or be taken care of in some way, that it isn't such a big deal, and that she could focus on those simpler things like romance and finding just that perfect person for her. So I was just honestly having fun. It's like, if she was in the 1800s, this is what would be happening. If she was in the 1940s, this is what would be happening. And ultimately, what I do plan to do is bring her to present day and to take her medieval. Even though Cherry's kind of supposed to be the medieval version of her, she's not really. Piper's just way too well behaved to be. They're related. That's true. Originally, that's the plan, is that they are related, but you get what you get. All right, let me have my fun. Let me change up the relationships and all that fun stuff, because that's how people develop characters. Because you never know, as you're screwing around with all these different sort of relationships and all these different lines you can draw, you might find something way better than what you originally planned. So always, always adventure with your characters. Always make sure that you're willing to take them from point A to point B, unless you are so completely certain that they're supposed to be in the place that they are in. Don't be afraid to take them out of that and place them in another setting. And it helps to have other creative people around to kind of push you in those directions, or give you permission to use their characters to interact with. That's always fun. But alright, that's it for this week. I think there's a decent amount of mouse drawings this week. I've been kind of on a kick. But whatever, it's what I like to draw right now. But yeah. Yeah. Look at that guy. Look at that. He's so Rico Suave. He's Don Juan. But, okay, my camera stopped on me because I ran out of room. I didn't even realize I was running out of room. Alright, but real quick, just if you guys liked what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe below. Feel free to leave a comment. Check out my new 3-marker challenge. And hopefully I'll have another speed paint up here pretty soon, because I have that commission I need to work on. But other than that, I hope you guys have a really awesome week, and I'll see you in next week's sketchbook review.